Hello, I am Gilles Salles from Memorial Sloan Kettering, and I'm happy today to discuss with you some of the communications that were presented during the recent SOHO meeting, a virtual meeting held in September. A session was dedicated to new agents and new therapies in the field of diffuse large B-cell and aggressive B-cell lymphoma. And I think this was a fascinating session, given the number of agents that are being developed nowadays in this field. Among these agents, I think we can consider some targeted molecules targeting specific pathway, some immunological interventions, including antibody-drug conjugate, naked antibodies, or bispecific antibodies, as well as CAR T cells. Regarding targeted agents, I think we heard a couple of insights regarding the activity of lenalidomide in combination with chemotherapy or in combination with other agents. We heard also some update regarding the activity of BTK inhibitors. And as you may know, there are new BTK inhibitors coming in the field. There are also new molecules that may target the BCR pathway, such as IRAK4 inhibitors, or new family of molecules which are protein degraders that can degrade some of these kinases, such as BTK or IRAK4, or even molecules with double activity called IRAKimide, inhibiting both pathways. In the field of antibody-drug conjugate, we have seen polatuzumab vedotin, and we are all excited to learn more regarding the result of the POLARIX study that assessed in the first-line setting the combination of polatuzumab vedotin with R-CHP and compare it to R-CHOP. We know the result of this randomized trial in the first-line setting of patients with diffuse large B-cell lymphoma is positive, and we are eagerly waiting for the final results. At the same time, another antibody-drug conjugate called loncastuximab tyrosine was recently approved in the United States, leading to wider the panel of antibody-drug conjugates that can be used in aggressive B-cell lymphoma. Lonca-T, its surname, was administered to patients with relapsed refractory aggressive lymphoma with a response rate in the range of 45 to 50%, half of these patients having a complete response, and which was durable for some patients. The median PFS was in the range of 5 months when considering the whole population. There was also some excitement with the updated result of the L-MIND study that combined tafasitamab plus lenalidomide in patients with relapsed refractory diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. These data that were presented at SOHO and recently published indicated that for those patients that achieved a CR, representing 40% of the population in this study, the 3 years progression-free survival was of 80%. Overall, the median PFS for the whole population was 11.6%, and the median overall survival was close to 3 years. The toxicity profile is similar to what was described initially. During the SOHO meeting, there was an interesting communication presented by Dr. Novakovsky comparing the result of the L-MIND study with data collected in the real-world setting with different regimens of chemotherapy, including in particular GMOX or bendamustine rituximab. And the match comparison of these two data sets indicated that the overall response rate, CR rate, as well as progression-free survival and overall survival was better with L-MIND as compared to matched patients in this real-world collection of patients. Finally, there was also a lot of excitement regarding bispecific antibody, which are being actively developed in the field of diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. We heard already the result of mosunetuzumab. There were some recent updates regarding the result of epcoritamab, which is administered subcutaneously, or glofitimab. It seems like these bispecific antibodies targeting both CD3 and CD20 enable an overall response rate of 50 to 60% in relapsed or refractory BCL, but a CR rate in the range of 30 to 40% in the last results that were communicated. There are some side effects, including a risk of cytokine release syndrome during the first infusion, and a step-up dosing is adopted as a way to deliver increased dose of this antibody during the first months of administration. So really a large panel of new drugs being developed in this field, encouraging results, new combination to be assessed with a prospect of probably continuing to improve the outcome of patients with aggressive lymphoma, obviously in the relapse refractory setting when these agents will be available, but also to think how we'll integrate better these new agents in the first-line management of this patient. So an exciting field to continue to move forward for our patient. Thank you for your attention.